Good night, everyone. Done tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Sermon Jail Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you a word on tonight, and the topic gonna be the golden calf. You know, the olive. You know, remember I told you yesterday, the Israelite gonna be quickly, turned from God. So Exodus chapter 32, verse 1 through 35. So this gonna be kind of long. So now Moses is still up on top of the mountain. He's gonna be up there for 40 days and 40 nights. So why they getting the tablet together? Because God gonna put the law on tablet. And he up there for about 40 days and 40 nights. But the people saw that Moses was so long. He was up there a long time. 40 days and 40 nights. That's a long time. That's why he put Aaron and the elders in charge. And coming down from the mountain. So the Israelites seeing that, okay, he went up there. He up there for a long time. He haven't come down yet. So now Moses had told Aaron, to stay down with Israel. Excuse me. So Moses had told Aaron to stay down with Israel now, so they can bring all their dispute, to him so he can handle all their problems and stuff. Since he know he was gonna be up there for 40 days and 40 nights. So the people asked Aaron, to make them a god. Because they want a false god, before them, so they can manipulate someone. You know. So these people have fear. They think Moses is not coming down again. Because they say, I don't even know what happened to Moses. So he been out there a long time, and they're thinking Moses not coming back down, so they want to make their own god. So Aaron had said, take off all your gold jewelry, take off your earrings, take off everything. So Aaron had took what they had handed him. So they give him everything, give him all their jewelry, everything they had. And see, Aaron, he know better. So Aaron is telling them, these are the God, the Israel, who brought you up. Now he telling them, I made y'all God. Now he telling them this is the God had brought you out of Egypt. He know God brought them out of Egypt. You know. And so now Aaron decided to build an altar. He owned it. Now he done made a false God for them. Now he gonna make an altar for them in front of the calf, in front of the altar, and announce, tomorrow there will be a festival to the Lord. So they're making a festival to this false image of a God that he made. So now Aaron had made an idol God and made an altar, and they sacrificed and bring offering, and they sat down and eat and drink, screaming and hollering, because when Joshua woke up, Joshua gonna hear all the noise and shout. He ain't gonna know what's going on. So now God had told them not to bow down. God had told them not to bow down to the other God. Aaron know better, and he went along with the Israelite. So God gave them rules and gave them instruction. But we see they broke every rule. And the main rule that God had told them what he don't want them to do. So now God can hear, he can see everything. Now he out there talking to Moses, and God seeing all this nonsense that they're doing down south. So God had told Moses, your people is not acting right. You need to go down there and see what they're doing. So Moses had so now the people had become corrupted. God said your people have become corrupted. Now you need to go down and see by them. So they had been quickly had turned away, from God. What he had commanded them, and they made themselves out of God. Shape of out of God, and they had bowed down to it and sacrificed to it, and they just went too far. You made an honor God, then you made an altar, and then you're gonna bow down to it. And when God had told you not to, so as Moses had went away, they quickly had turned away from God, just that fast. All that command, you know, all the rules and regulations that God had given them. And remember they kept on saying, "Oh, we gonna do everything you say, God. We gonna do everything." and quickly they had turned away. So now God had told Moses, go down. You know, God is in anger that he may destroy them. And then he will make you into a great nation. And now, so Moses just saw the favor, the favor of Allah, the favor of God on him. So these people already, thank God, had took them out, took care. So God say, they already think I took them out of Egypt, to have them dead. Because every time they thirsty, oh, you took us out here to die of thirst. Then when it was hunger, oh, you took us out here to die of hunger. So every time they get in a situation, they think God took them from Egypt just to kill them in the desert. So they thought they would never see Moses again. That's their excuse. So they wanted to create their own God, and they do not bring, they will bring disaster, on themselves. So Moses telling God, so Moses pleading for these people, because that is his people also. It's all Jacob people. He from that same bloodline. So Moses about to plead for the people. Not only he gonna plead for them, he gonna put his own life on the line. He gonna say, he gonna say, just block me out. But spare the Israelite. So God still will give your offspring all this land that he promised. And he will be there on, and it will be their inheritance forever. Because see, God said, I'm gonna destroy them. And so Moses trying to plead to God for his people. So then the Lord had relented and did not bring on his people the disaster they had, that he had threatened. But he will, you know. So now we see that God had wanted to destroy them, the people, because they told them, to do not, make false gods. Do not bow down to false gods. And they say they're going to do everything God said do. But quickly they had turned away, and God had threatened to take them out. And they know God don't play. God shook them up the last time. And they're like, oh, I don't want to talk to God, because God said He's going to shoot arrows at us and kill us. But then He's going to turn around, make false God, bow down, sacrifice. You doing all that to somebody, to a thing that cannot save you. So Moses talked to God out of it from destroying them, and told him to remember. Now Moses told him, now God, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You remember what you promised to them. That you're gonna take care of his offspring. So Moses had to bring all that up to try to save the Israelites. So remember Abraham, the covenant you made with him, that you would take care of his offspring. So Moses came down with 2 tablets, and a covenant law in his hand. So they were inscribed on both sides, front and back. The tablet was the work of God. The writing was the writing of God engraved on the tablet. Now God did all this hard work, trying to bring that down for the Israelites. Because they need these instructions on how to live in the land that he promised to them. So now Joshua, Joshua was not there. Because see, all that never went on, and Joshua was down there. Aaron know better. So he didn't let them persuade him. He not only made the false god, he made the altar too. So Joshua was not around. So now Joshua heard the noise. Oh, remember they get given a festival right in front of the false god. Celebrate that they have their own God. So Joshua was not around. So now Joshua heard the noise, other people shouting, and he had said, to Moses, sound of war. So Moses replied, it's not the sound of no victory. Moses already know what it was, because God told him. Moses said, it's not no sound of victory. It is not the sound of defeat. Not the sound of victory, not the sound of defeat. It is the sound of singing that they heard. So soon as Moses came down, the first thing he saw, was the idol, the image of an idol. and dancing. They were dancing, and he agreed to burn, and he threw the tablet out of his hand and broke it. Now that's just how angry Moses was. Moses, they was up there for 4 days for the night, you know, doing hard work. God engraving everything, the law and everything. So Moses come down with the two tablets in his hand, and he's seeing the false image of an idol, and he's seeing them around dancing, singing and shouting and sacrificing in front of this false god. But God told him not to do. So Moses took and just dropped it on the ground and broke it all into pieces. So then, he broke it all into pieces, at the foot of the mountain. Cause remember when he was coming down, that was the first thing he saw when he was climbing down the mountain. And so he took the calf of the people it had made, he burnt it in the fire, then the ground, he burned it, and he burned the fire, and then he ground it into powder, and now it is ready, ready made Moses made, so he scattered it on the water, and he made the Israelite drink it, so now Moses, he just was talking, he was just taking up for them. Now Moses was just up there taking up for them, to God, trying to tell God, don't destroy them. I'm about to go down there right now. So Moses put his life on the line for them, because he said, block me out, just to block me out the book, just to save them, and then he come down, they're doing this here. Because God didn't tell him exactly what they're doing. God just said, go see about your people, because they is corrupt. So he come down the mountain. That's the first thing he see them dancing around this false idol and screaming and doing all kinds of sacrificing in front of something that can't even save them. So now Moses just was talking up for the Israelites to God, for God not to destroy them. But now Aaron was left in charge of the Israelites to keep them in line. But he did not keep them in line. So now Moses asked Aaron, what did these people do to you that you let this happen? Because Moses like, what did they do to you? For you to let this shit happen. You're supposed to be in charge. You're supposed to not let this shit happen. But Moses don't know. Aaron was the one made the stuff. Instead of him telling them no, Moses gonna be down in a little bit, he just allowed it to go on like he don't know what's gonna happen to Moses, and turn around and just make this idol for the Israelite. So now Aaron, he responsible, and he didn't know what happened to Moses also. So Aaron had told him, he told them, he told them to give him all his jewelry. So he telling Moses, I told him to give him all their jewelry, and I made the idol for them. So Aaron admit, that he let them, get out of control. He said, I'm sorry, I did let them get out of control. I told them to give them all their jewelry, and I made the idol. I also made the altar. So he admit, so now Moses had told them, and you made us out of a laughing stock to our enemy. And so Moses had stood at the entrance. Whoever is for the Lord, he said, come to me. He said, and all the Levites relied to him. So whoever is for the Lord, and all the Levites is with him. So this is what the Lord said. Because God was angry. Because he went through all that trouble telling them, do not serve other gods. And they did it anyway because they feel like Moses was up there too long. So this is what the Lord said. Each man strap a sword, to his side, go back and forward through the camp from the end and to the other side. Each killing his brother and friend and neighbor, and the Levite did as Moses commanded. So see, God wasn't going to destroy him at first, because he told Moses, okay, but while he come down, and seeing exactly for his own self, God gonna make him kill their own self. He said, scrap the sword on side of you, and you're gonna swing it to side, to your neighbor, to your friend, So in that day, about 3,000 other people died because of this sin. You know, so God allowed them to kill their own self. You know, put the neighbor on the side, put the friend on the side, swing that thing side to side. You know, and it swung it side to side, and about 3,000 of the Israelites was dead. You know, so Moses had said, "You have been set apart, you know, to the Lord today." So from that day, they were set apart from God. So the next day, Moses had let them know that they committed a great sin. See, God didn't talk to them for the rest of that day. They depart from Him from that day. He had them to depart from Him that day. That's why He had Moses talk to them the next day. So Moses let them know you committed a great sin, and that's why, you know, God allowed them to kill their own self. Swing that big old saw side to side, and it had like 3,000 of the Israelites was dead. So Moses had went back to God to plead on the behalf of the Israelites to save them. So he pleaded for them again. Moses had told God he know they made a god of gold. And Moses said, please forgive this sin. But if not, Moses said, block him out of your book that you had written. And now Moses put his life on the line, for them, which is his offspring to save their life, to save their life. Because see, God was going to block them out, and Moses had to plead for them again. Had to plead for them again. But the Israelites going to keep on messing up. But God gonna keep saving them because God made a covenant with Abraham, and God is still faithful, after the matter. So the Lord replied, whoever sinned, against him, he will be blocked out of my book. And then he told Moses to go and lead the people, and the angel will go before you. And I said, this is a faithful, compassionate God. All the stuff they didn't do. God told Moses, go down there and continue on leading the people to the land that I promised them. And I'm going to have the angels going to go ahead of you. So we have an amazing God. He still have compassion on his chosen people. But they're just going to keep on messing up. But God always going to shake them up. He going to shake them up like he shook them up the last time. Now he shook them up this time because 3,000 of the Israelites, got killed. He had them swing. He had them to kill their own self. So that he said the angel's going to go before you. So he said, Moses, go ahead and lead the people to the land I promised you. I'm going to have the angels going to go before you. So God said, when the time comes, he will punish. See, they think it's over. God said, when the time is right, I will still punish them. For this sin. So in the meantime, God struck the people with a plague. Now he struck them. Now he still, like all the plagues he did on Pharaoh. Now he doing it to them. He put a plague because of what they did with the calf Aaron had made. And Aaron just don't realize God gonna get him too. Because I think he gonna be gone before Moses be gone. So gold, you gonna have gold. You gonna save gold, or you gonna save God. So the Israelites had used to create idol, and Moses was gone too long for them. They quickly turned. They figured like we ain't gonna see Moses no more. Moses got us out of Egypt, but then he's gone. So they didn't. If he was coming back, so they wanted something, to satisfy their thirst. So sometimes people want to do things quick to satisfy their thirst. Look at me. I've been waiting for a long time. I have not done anything else to try to satisfy my thirst. You got to wait on God. Because if you don't wait on God and trying to do something else to satisfy your thirst, look what happened. God allowed them to kill their own self. And still got a punishment for them later on when the time is right. So they create temples and statues and gold and jewelry, to elevate, these false gods. So they did all that to try to elevate this false god that they had made. Jewelry, to and gold, all this stuff they had used, to try to elevate this false god that they made. So the Israelite spiritual leader, left. Talking about Moses, the spiritual leader had left, for a while to meet God, on a mountain, but the people quickly had returned to the idol worship. Now they worshiping something, that can't even talk back to them or can't even save them. So the Israelites they was delivered from slavery, by the unseen God. But quickly exchanged worshiping God for worshiping of golden, dream that they could not control and manipulate. And see, they can't control and manipulate something, they can't even talk back to them. So do not worship calf out of God. That's only one true God that who can save us. You know, and that's what God had told. There only one true God. That's why God showed his power, miracles, to let them know if you make an image of an idol God, he cannot do the things that God can do. That's why he did it in front of Israelite, he did it in front of Pharaoh and the Egyptian, so they can know that there's only one true God. And see the Israelite know better, Aaron know better. See if Joshua was out there, all that would have never took place. So God went through all the trouble giving them the instructions and everything, and they're gonna turn around so quickly because their spiritual leader had went up to the mountain to meet God, and he was gone for this and for the night, and they figured that was too long. Too long. We need our own God. This is too long. And they want to make their own God. And they try to elevate this God with all this jewelry and gold and everything they had, dancing and worshiping something that can't even talk or save them. So this is a golden calf, a golden idol God that the Israelite made. And when God had just give them rules and regulations that, he's a jealous God. He told them that. He said, do not make no image of God, and that is a sin. He had Moses to wait the next day to let them know that was a great sin that they did. And it doesn't matter because they're going to keep on getting in trouble. They're going to keep on doing the same old thing. And they see that God shook them up because God had them to kill their own self. Side swing that sword side to side. Have your friend on one side, your neighbor on one side, and there was 3,000. The Israelite was dead. So where God was going, he was gonna do some more damage to you too. Moses went up there and tried to plead. This time Moses said, "Block me out of your book." Because I had told him it was a great sin. He just pleading for them. That's the second time Moses had to plead and save the Israelite. Because God could have did more damage than that. 3,000 was dead. He could have did more damage to that. He was just letting them know. That's just the first punishment. And just like he told Moses, when the time is right, I will punish them. So they think everything is good, and they're going to constantly keep on messing up. So they're going to have a lot to learn before they get into their promised land. When they get in the promised land, they're going to wind up getting kicked out of their own promised land because they're going to constantly keep being disobedient to God. So that's all the word I have for y'all tonight. Y'all have a blessed night, and I'll see y'all in the next video.